So $200 to sequence a genome. That's the promise made by Illumina a couple of months ago. It was the headline at their industry event launching the NovaSeq X. It's this new sequencer by Illumina that promises you to be able to sequence a genome, the full DNA map of an individual, at the low price of $200. And it's very cheap. It's a big cost saving. Currently, it's around 1,000, I think, maybe a bit lower. But this promise by the number one sequencing provider in the world, it's quite a big deal because, most people are using Illumina. They're saying, you're going to get more savings from using our technology. But I am wondering why they're doing this right now. I wonder if it might be because of competition. There are other alternatives these days. Companies like BGI are making headway into Asia, especially. BGI is based in China. It's just closer as a neighbor. You can get the chemicals easier. And the technologies are very similar, Illumina and BGI. So it really just comes down to cost. And I wonder if this is just Illumina's way of staying competitive. Illumina's claim is that the cost savings comes from their new technology in the sequencer called the NovaSeq X. So they're trying to sell you something. In order to get this low price point, you can't use their old machines. You have to upgrade to the new version, which costs something crazy like $1 million each. And it's just worth noting that it's a theoretical number. You'll get to the $200 if you spend many other dollars buying the machine, buying the reagents, running lots of genomes, and then you average out the cost and you get $200. So practically it means it's going to be $200 upwards. But it's still a saving. Got to hand it to them, from, what is it again, 1,000 or maybe some places 600, now dropping to 200 a genome. It means more labs can sequence more samples, more patients can be diagnosed, that kind of thing. And it's a reality. They're not just making this promise, they're actually rolling out these machines. So you get the savings immediately if you pay like $1 million to buy this machine. And in perspective, again, sequencing has dropped by so much. It used to cost $150K to sequence one genome. That was the first version of Illumina back in 2007. So it's 750 times cheaper than it was 15 years ago. So that's very, very good. It's a very good trend. I think, again, it's due to market forces. It's due to competition, again, from places like BGI. It's good to have alternatives. So they're competing with one another. Everyone wins when the cost is lowered. But there are also different kinds of technologies on the market now. I'm thinking of Nanopore and PacBio, which does long-read sequencing. Incidentally, I visited a Nanopore event last week. Very, very cool to have a look at their machines. Very small thing that costs very cheap. You don't need to buy the big thing. You can just buy one flow cell. It costs about $1,000 and you can start sequencing already. And what they do also is produce results from longer reads of DNA. Illumina tends to be short reads, but you can do very, very long reads, detect more changes across DNA. And so the hypothetical situation is, your lab probably already has an Illumina machine if you're doing sequencing, and you're thinking of expanding. Instead of buying another Illumina machine, you probably want to think about buying one of these other types of machines, get different types of results for the same types of samples, and do different kinds of cool experiments. Again, you can do this with these new machines that cost cheaper. Why buy another thing that's the same, and why not upgrade to something that's a bit different? And so I think Illumina is conscious of this, and they're trying to stay competitive with new players in the market. They're trying to lower the price, saying, stick with us, it'll be cheaper, you'll be able to do more for less. It's worth noting that this 200 price point has already been beat by some new players. There's this startup also in the US called Ultima, I think. They have redesigned their sequencer to look like a spinning CD. Most traditional sequencers have a flow cell, straight channels, but theirs spins and spreads out the DNA and the chemicals. I'm not sure how it works, but that's what I get from the literature and the web. And they claim they've already hit $100. So that's very, very exciting because it means all this competition, all this new technology, all these new advancements means it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. More people are going to use sequencing in their analysis, in their research, in their diagnosis. And that vision of having precision medicine is going to be closer and closer to a reality. Who knows, maybe one day sequencing will cost as much as a cup of coffee. And then it would just be a normal thing, just run the sequence, get the results, and look at what you get and try to diagnose and make the most of the information you can get out of that. So that's just my reflection on the $200 genome. Very, very good news. But I think there's more to come. What do you think? Are you excited? Do you think it would have happened anyway? Either way, let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like the video. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.